and welcome to this British Council Library event. This event is being recorded and will be available afterwards. We welcome and look forward to your interactions and questions and comments. So please do put those in the public chat and we will take them up a little later. I now invite Jill Caldicott, Country Director, British Council, to say a few words.
Good afternoon and welcome to this event in which we at the British Council are very pleased to be launching a collection of new poetry from Sri Lankan poets writing in English. First of all, I'd like to give you a little background. World Poetry Day is March the 21st, and we had, with some considerable input, devised a wonderful event to be hosted in our Colombo Library with a selection of the poets and a live audience. And it was with great regret that we had to cancel the live event because of the COVID-19 lockdown. Nevertheless, thanks to the tireless work of my colleague, Vivimarie, we're here today to launch an online collection of 40 poems by 30 poets. So what exactly was this project? Well, we invited poets and aspiring poets from all over the island to submit their work for selection. And we received over 100 submissions. And these were all submitted blind, i.e. without a name, without any indication of the gender of the poet or the age of the poet, to our curator, award-winning poet, Vivimarie Vanderpoorten. And she made this selection, which we're launching today. So a word or two about Vivimarie, and a big thank you from us at the British Council to Vivi for the generosity of her time. Vivimarie is an educationalist as well as a published poet. She's a senior lecturer in English language, literature and linguistics at the Department of Language Studies at the Open University here in Sri Lanka. She is, as you will be aware, an award-winning poet, having won the Gratian Prize for her first published collection of poetry, Nothing Prepares You, in 2007. She was also awarded the Sark Poetry Award in 2009. And her second publication, Stitch Your Eyelids Shut, jointly won the State Literary Award in 2011. And her third volume, Borrowed Dust, was shortlisted for the 2016 Gratian Award. Her work has also been translated into Sinhala, into Spanish, into Swedish, and most recently into Nepalese. I would also like to thank Stephen Champion, a British photographer who has worked and lived in Sri Lanka for well over 30 years, for agreeing to the use of his stunning image, bathing in the early morning near Kirigolewa, which, used on the cover to the digital collection, is the perfect complement to the collection of poems. I would now like to hand over to Moonwalker. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And I would just like to let you know that after the launch, the anthology will be available on our social media platforms and on our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill. I'm now delighted to invite our curator, Vivimarie Vanderpoorten, to say a few words. Vivi, do we have you online? Wonderful.
I'm online.
Vivi.
Hi.
Okay, wonderful. Could you please say a few words? Thank you.
Now it's me, right? Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm sorry. I think Vivi is having a bit of a technical problem right now. But what we can do is we can move on to Shiroma and have her do her little section, and then we will come back to Vivi. Shiroma, over to you, Shiro. Wonderful.
Thank you, Rinali. On behalf of the British Council Library, I congratulate all the poets who were successful in having their work selected for inclusion in the volume of poetry. I would also like to thank Dr. Vivimarie Vanderpoorten and Rinali Thalgodepitiya for their huge contribution in completing this project. The selected poets and their work are The Poets by Things That Matter by Amina Mushin. To My Son by Anusha Nilmini Pereira. Bird Songs, Silence and Violence. And Moonwalker by Arshak Shafraz. 1983 and My Favorite Thing to Hate by Chalani Ranwala. A Good Rule of Thumb by Chamita Akalanka. Under a Mulberry Leaf by Dilantha Gunawardena. Experience Paradise by Erandati Damunupola. The Coin by George Cook. Other Worlds by Hamad Anwar. My Teacher by Hansi Millavithana. Rituals by Indumini Ranasinghe. Alone and Night by Kavya Veerasurya. Crimson Lake and Untitled by Malik Sherifdi. Hymns for the Hybrid by Malik Alahap Perumal. The Island with Clear Waters and Untitled by Manal Mubarak. Long Tents Wait by Mayondi Manjula Samaravira. By Now by Megan Dakshini. Fire by Netumvira Surya. A Beggar and Waiting by Purnima Pereira. Cinderella Dreams and Clan continues by Priyangvada Pereira. Jasmine Buds by Ranmini Gunawardena. When No One is Listening, Ranok Vijayasinghe. Dreamscape by Prithvi Kulasekharan. Ground Zero by Ruwan Laknath Jayakodi. Jungle Sounds and Save the World by Sachili Abenayaka. Perfect by Sajida N. Marika Hazim. Untitled by Shazia Fayaz, also known as Umayara. Feeble She Stands by Sumitrey Sivapalan. Fallen from Grace by Wazna Hafi. Coffee Stains and Lost Words by Zion Anisus. We will now share the curator's choice from the e-anthology. It's a selection of 10 poems from the 40 included in the volume. Thank you.
(1983) Why didn't you tell me about Black July? The blood, the fire, and the gut-wrenching cries. Did you think I'd be safe in your lies? Well, miss, imagine my surprise as I turned the pages of my storybook to see the words die Tamil dogs, and for the first time I was forced to imagine. Just imagine. The first impression I have of that defining day, from a story about love and loss, some of it made up, some all too real, and then imagine me asking, Tati, did this really happen? Why didn't you tell me about Black July? I had the right to know. Those kings who built things, very important things, whose names you said I should know, I don't remember them now. But the names of those who screamed as their bodies burned and their walls shattered, weren't they also lives that mattered? You selected my history, carefully carving the path that I stepped on, and the stories that were erased, left to the artists and writers who could not stay silent, the power of their voices guiding me to fill in the gaps created by your silence.
Never ever drink wine for health or for Christ. Never listen to violin concertos for development, or swim to lose weight, or menial work to build muscles. Don't squeeze out the juiciness of life. Don't go around trying to find optimal outcomes, and don't be in bed wondering whether port or wine is better for the body, or tea or coffee has the lesser chances of insomnia, or how much calories does pancake, butter and maple syrup has, or did you sleep 8 whole hours straight as a kite, or whether the kids' crayon drawings are appropriate or not. Don't, please don't. To find life sizzling out of the woodwork, you must be lazy, be overweight, drop a muscle or two. Hell, no one's gonna care, and drink wine all day long. Also, don't forget to ride without a helmet on. Don't be so shy.
By now, this altar to you should have collapsed into itself, burning out the stench of damp skin and pretense. By now, this marred tongue should have no memory of how to sing your praises or lick your wounds the way it needs to. By now, this mass of blood and bone should have ripped away from the grasp of your fantasy and distant gaze. By now, these eyes should have stopped sieving through the crowds for your face and your musk and the drone of your voice. By now, the nighttime pillows and thighs and cheeks and fingers should be bone dry. But not yet. The air is still wet with you.
Cinderella Dreams. I'm standing at the edge. Is it a jump? Or is it a fall? Heart says I'll spread wings. Brain says dreams are falls. I sense the awakened Pisces soul, dressed Cinderella after the ball. Back of the mind it takes a toll. Sink and broom, a wake-up call. Scared to dream, scared to dare. A fairy godfather is all that's there with super glue to fix my broken stairs. Pumpkin carriage, talking mice, a magic wand wagging thrice, the lost shoe just fitting nice. She dreams, correcting paper piles.
Hymns for the hybrid. Mama, why is it bad to cook 1 cupful of rice? Because it signifies death. A cupful of rice is only cooked at funerals. But I've never even seen anyone serve rice at funerals. No, not here, my daughter, not in this wheat mine. But we did serve rice at funerals back in Paradise Island. It's funny how I willingly speak of disease and death just to be able to talk of home. Back then, disease was taboo. Our mothers shushed us when we spoke of death. I thought their myths were silly. I've told it to them myself. But now, the notorious daughter refuses to cook 1 cupful of rice, refuses to eat fried food outside, and refuses to shower on Tuesdays without even knowing the reason why. I don't want to know the reason why. Following the myths of homeland, knowing the science behind them, would make me irrational. I don't want to be irrational. I crave to be the blind follower. Each time I add a cupful of rice to the pot, only to quickly follow by another fistful, the fragrance of the jasmine rice suddenly becomes that of my mother. I yearn to lie down on the floor and allow the sweet fragrance of the rice, or my mother, I no longer know which, to suffocate me.
Long tense wait. Azure skies being streaked with red, just as the cheeks are with tears shed. Eye muscles about to go into spasm, yet the long wait I'm not ready to abandon. Yesterday was of no different hue. He arrived with no heed to the time's due. Without a word took dinner and slept. I sobbed throughout the vigil kept. His phone is there, I dare not touch. What startle might spring in front? Too much time spent on it? Could it mean the worst I dread? Never should I show that I do care. I have others with life to share. Need to put on makeup to rub telltales, but hardly any strength to go my way. There he comes with the falling dusk, darkness now reflecting on me. I lie on the bed, turned the other side, never mind his look of weary. Why does he fumble in his pocket, takes out a crushed piece of wedding cake? Oh dear, he had told me so. Today was his peon's wedding date.
Lost words. There's a melody I wrote for you that I can't sing to you. So maybe grab the flowers I've kept by the piano and listen to the tape that I've left.
Moonwalker. I have always wondered about a moonwalker. Is he a genius? Is he a fool? Or is he a senseless moon talker? What does he eat and what does he drink? What does he do while he is lonely in the moon's brink? He has the superpower to fly and glide, but he isn't able to skid or slide. His life is so short, it might end so soon. And when it does, in his hands would be written, "I'm a fool."
The poets. If you asked me what the best lovers have in common, I would, without pausing to ponder, say, the best lovers are those who are painlessly protective and publicly private and have an inbuilt penchant for perfection. They are those who are purely peaceful and properly problematic, a peculiar pair, you'd say, for just one person. They come with pretty pasts pilfered by pathetic plights, so the pricey price to pay they presume is pain. But still, they can purposefully be prouder than pious peacocks, so you might want to try and apologize again. So ask me once more what the best lovers have in common, and I promise to make it short this time by telling you who they are instead. I'll tell you without pausing to ponder, but maybe I'll pause for effect. I'll tell you my personal proposition is that they are the poets.
when no one is listening. Late on in moonlit nights, when the stars shine bright and streets are enlightened by weakened lights instead of the crowded streets of harsh daylight. The morning that shrieked of the hard-working crowds is now drowned out by silence. At this time, there seems no one around, and so no hatred nor violence. You feel the trees, they are listening, even the stars that are glistening. Silence is the only presence you can hear, for peace at this time seeks vengeance from fear. But the feel of your heartbeat still echoes. It echoes through the trees and clear meadows. These are the feelings that I keep expressing when no one at all
These are the
is
feelings
listening.
that I keep expressing. No one at all is listening.
Okay, so that was wonderful to hear them all read their poetry, at least the 10 who were selected by the curator. Thank you very much. We're going to try to bring Vivi back on screen again. Let's see. Vivi, we would really like to see if you can come back on screen. We are having technical issues today. This is the first time for us, so usually our events have gone very smoothly. But I think being a Sunday, I think there are some technical issues with bandwidth maybe. So please bear with us just 1 minute. Okay, so we cannot bring Vivi on at this time. So we are going straight through to the launch of the volume. If I can have the launch button and Shiroma on screen, please. Thank you. Wonderful. I now would like to have Shiroma Benragama, who is our Chief Librarian at the British Council, to launch the anthology, please, on our social media pages and also on our website. Shiro, could you please launch the volume? Thank you. Thank you very much. So this, our volume, the volume of poetry No One Is Listening, is now available on our social media and our web pages. If we cannot bring Vivimarie on at this time to handle the Q&A, I will go straight into the thank yous for this volume. I do apologize for the issues that we have been experiencing. Thank you very much, Shiro. Okay, thank you. All right, so let me wrap up this event and let me say thank you, a lot of thank yous actually. It's a wonderful task to be able to say so many thank yous. Thank you to our curator, Vivimarie Vanderpoorten, for her enthusiasm and her attention and her generosity of time and effort in making the selection for this volume of Sri Lankan verse, and for the foreword, which I'm sure many poets will find inspirational. I'm so sorry you could not hear her live today and have her speak to you, but I know that this foreword is very special, and I do encourage everyone who reads the volume of poetry to also read the foreword. It's very interesting and very relevant. Thank you to Jill Caldicott, our Country Director of British Council, for her support and encouragement for this project and for all the care and attention she gave to the volume. Thank you to Stephen Champion for his beautiful image, which he has generously allowed us to use on the front and back cover of the anthology. Thank you to all the poets who submitted their work. Please continue to write and share your words, and remain brave, because it is it's an act of bravery to write a poem and then to share it with people who sometimes you don't even know at all. Thank you and congratulations to all the poets who were selected for inclusion. We hope you and all those people you share your work with and this anthology will take pride and pleasure in this small publication. Thank you to Shiroma for her support for this project, and to Afshan and Jim for their inputs and encouragement and guidance. Thank you to Sajid for agreeing to handle the back-end tech. A very stressful day for him and absolutely nerve-wracking because we've had so many tech issues today, I think with bandwidth. So thank you so much, Sajid. Thank you to you, our audience, who took the time on a Sunday to log in and join in the launch and a celebration of our poets. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you to British Council colleagues who have supported this event in so many ways. The event recording will be up on our site early next week, and so will the anthology. I think it's already up, so you can download it. Have a good evening and goodbye. Thank you.